You're invited to experience online healing retreats brought to you by acoustichealth.com. These magical online gatherings give you valuable insights, exercises, and channeled information on the great shift of the ages. Visit acoustichealth.com and click on online retreats, or check out our retreat archive and download the recordings. Life-changing online retreats by acoustichealth.com. Welcome to another healing conversation brought to you by acoustichealth.com. I'm Galey, and today we're talking about dreaming and your soul. Now, how are the two related, and why should we care? My guest today is a pioneer in the field of dreaming, specifically what he calls active dreaming, which uses shamanism and dreaming to bring the soul back into wholeness. He says soul loss is the main source of illness and depression, and recovering aspects of lost soul can be done through the doorway of dreaming. Robert Moss, author of 7 books and counting, is here with us today to talk about his latest book, Dreaming the Soul Back Home. Welcome, Robert.
Good to be dreaming with you, Loren.
Wonderful to be here dreaming with you. We're going to talk all about that. I had no idea how important it was to use our dreams. And when we learn of the shamans in South America and all around the world, we know that it's very important. So let's start with, what is soul loss?
Well, most of us understand this in our gut and in our intuition, Loren. You know, we understand that when we suffer pain or trauma or disappointment or grief or shame or any of that other bad stuff, part of us goes away. It's actually a sort of survival technique. We can't take any more of this stuff. The world seems cold and cruel. We've been let down. So part of us sort of checks out. And from a psychological standpoint, I mean, that's easy to talk about and explain. From a shamanic perspective, it goes as far as this. You know, you suffer that pain, you suffer that abuse, you suffer that wrenching heartbreak. Part of you leaves your body. Part of your vital energy and identity may withdraw itself from your life, leaving you incomplete. This is a shaman's understanding of what is at the root of a lot of our malaise, a lot of our lack of energy, a lot of our depression, a lot of our, you know, the reasons why our immune system gets shot and we become vulnerable to all sorts of intrusions of disease and so on. The basic cause of that from the primal shaman's perspective is we are missing a piece of ourselves. We're missing a piece of vital soul, of vital energy. It went away, and what we need to do is find a way to bring it back.
So we do this in the dream state. That's one technique to bring it back.
The clearest guide and the royal road to soul recovery, which means getting that vital energy back in the body, getting those missing pieces of yourself, that beautiful teen who was stood up, you know, at the prom, that infant self who was neglected or abused, that younger self who left the relationship, left the home, and wasn't really happy about it. Getting those parts of you back, the easiest way to do it is actually to start working with the dreams that show you where the other parts of you may have gone. For example, you know, you dream maybe many times, if you're remembering your dreams, that you're back in the old place, you're back in the apartment or the home, let's say, that you shared with a previous partner, or you're back in the old job that you left 10 years ago. Well, those dreams could be saying there's unfinished business, sure, but they could also be saying, hey, you left a part of yourself, you left a part of your energy and identity in that old situation, and you want to learn to turn around or reach back and bring it back to you so you can be whole today. Let's note quickly, Lauren, that a lot of us in our culture are suffering from a dream drought. There are lots of people who don't remember dreams very much. Dreams from the night, don't remember them very much. There are even people who say, I don't dream, which is just saying, I don't remember, because we all dream every night, whether we remember or not. In traditional cultures, in shamanic indigenous cultures, they say that if you've lost contact with your dreams altogether, you are woefully soul gone. You are woefully soul gone, because dreams are your best connection to the world of soul and spirit. You've lost that connection. You're out of touch with the fundamental purpose of your life, as well as with those other parts of yourself. So as a dreamer and a dream teacher, I go around the world helping people to open to their dreams again, dreams of the night and dreams of life and dreams of the day, and to use those dreams as gateways to bring soul back where it belongs.
Let's talk more about the gateways. What do you mean by a gateway?
Let's tell a bit of a story. I mean, I'm the storyteller. I like to teach by stories. If you'll entertain a story, I'll give you an example of how a dream can be a gateway to bring back soul. So I was teaching in southern France last year, and there's a woman in the workshop, a French woman, whose name was Eve, talk about an archetypal name, who was rather distressed by the end of the first day. She said, Robert, I've done all sorts of practices. I'm a meditator, I've done yoga, I'm a shamanic practitioner, but I don't remember my night dreams. And I'm listening to people who have all these dreams, and I don't have any. I'm feeling a bit lost and bereft. And I say, Eve, I don't believe you. I believe that you remember some dream from some point in your life. And she looks at me and she says, okay, the last dream I remember is a dream that I had when I was 9 years old. I said, okay, great. Will you tell it? She says, in my dream, there's a hand reaching towards me with chocolate. And she loves chocolate. She would like the chocolate. But she's scared in the dream because the hand is reaching from behind a curtain and she cannot see the source of the disembodied hand. So she wakes up screaming, and her parents come and they do what parents so often do. They say, it's just a dream, go back to sleep, consigning their child back to the place of terror with no support and no understanding. So a good Catholic girl at the time, she prays to Jesus and Mary and all the saints, no more dreams, please, no more dreams. And her prayers maybe were answered, because since the age of 9, and she's now 39, she has remembered not a single dream from the night. And I say to her, you know what? That old dream could be a gateway. And she says to me, just as you did, Lauren, what does that mean? I say, I would like to invite you to go back into that dream, step back inside it with the intention of opening the curtain, seeing what is behind it, resolving the terror you felt at the time, and maybe opening the veil between you and the dream world when you do that. And she's nervous. She understands about shamanic journeying, which is when we use drumming and focused intention to travel to another place. She can get the idea that she could travel into the dream because it's a place she has been, but she doesn't want to do it because she still feels fear. I say, okay, some of us will come with you. You'll choose them as your bodyguard, as your trackers, your shamanic trackers, your supporters. We will travel with you in a shared journey with the drumming. We'll all travel with you while you go back into the place of the dream, open the curtain, and see what is to be found. And she agrees to do it. So now in the workshop, I'm drumming for the group, and they're going to make different journeys on different agendas. People are going to travel into different dreams on their personal itineraries. And Eve is going to travel back into her dream and open the curtain, and she does it. And we are with her. Several of us are traveling with her shamanically. We're journeying shamanically with the drum. And we see her do this. She opens the curtain, and she sees a radiant being, radiant like an angel. And then when it sort of resolves into a more formed face, she recognizes the face of a man she loved like a father. It was her father's best friend, a really nice guy who owned a toy shop, would let her visit the toy shop after hours, told her stories. She loved him. He'd been killed in a car crash a few days before the dream when she was 9 years old. And she says to him, weeping with joy at recognizing this old family friend, she says, why didn't you show yourself? And he says, sweetie, I wanted to give you something nice because I loved you, but I couldn't show you my face because my face had been horribly mutilated in the car accident, and I did not yet understand how to change my appearance. Tears come. Tears come. She comes back to this. She feels there's been resolution. And wait for this. It's a residential workshop. I say to her, I bet your dreams will be different now. I bet your relationship with the night will be different. Overnight, she dreams. She dreams up a storm. At the breakfast table in the morning, she cannot wait to tell us. She says, all night long, my dreams were running through my mind like a high-speed train, a train grand vitesse, vroom, vroom, vroom. And at the breakfast table, she tells us 8 dreams. one after another, and as she tells the dreams, we feel parts of a vital soul energy returning to her. She was stronger, she was more intact, she'd made a connection with a 9-year-old self. She made family healing out of this because her relations with her father and other people in the family were transformed. So that's an example of a core technique of shamanic dreaming that I teach all over the place and have written about in 9 books now. It could be called dream reentry. And it's an example of using a dream as a gateway. You've dreamed something, or you have a friend who's dreamed something. You have a picture. It has some energy for you. You can make it your intention, wide awake and conscious, in wide awake lucid dreaming, to travel through that image. Use it like a doorway on an intention. And the intention might extend to healing your soul.
It also seems like this is through the shamanic dreaming. Is it more like a meditation?
Well, it's a very high-octane meditation. I mean, we're talking about different ways of approaching consciousness and expanding consciousness. Mm-hmm. This has various aspects. I mean, I've given you one of the core techniques, which is to use a dream as a gateway through dream reentry, go back inside it and do things. But there are many other techniques in this approach. And let me note, this is an original approach. I mean, I've borrowed different elements from primal shamans and from modern dream work and from Jung and from other people. But the synthesis, the way it's all been put together, is an original and distinctive approach. And it's not essentially about night dreams. I love night dreams. I love the spontaneous revelations of dreams that come in the night. We may not want them. We certainly may not have asked for them, but they're always holding up a mirror to our lives and showing us things beyond what the waking mind knows. But this is about, as you see, ways of consciously expanding our knowledge and our ability to travel in consciousness to different places. It's also, Lauren, about dreaming wide awake in the sense of living by synchronicity, paying attention to symbols and coincidences around us every day. I am guided by the symbols and signs that appear to me in the world around me. They might be the voices of nature, it might be the voice of a bird or a mountain. It might be the bumper sticker, on the car in front of me. It might be a snatch of conversation. It might be a pattern of resemblance between little incidents popping up one after another that give guidance. These are all ways of expanding our way of being in the world so we become citizens of the multi-dimensional universe and not just, linear inhabitants of a shrunken reality.
In your book, you talk a lot about other people's energy coming in to where there was a soul loss. That can be shown in addictions.
Well, it says nature abhors a vacuum. If we are lacking a part of ourselves, something else will fill it, or we will try to fill it in some way. And addiction is one way of trying to fill in a vacuum. Addiction is also a way of trying to numb ourselves so we don't feel so much, so we're not so sensitive, so we don't feel exposed. So addiction is one of the many symptoms of soul loss. I mean, there might be other factors involved in addiction. As a matter of fact, in many forms of addiction, from a shamanic perspective, you're dealing not only with this person and how broken or hollow they might be, but with other things that come to that person to support or insist on the addiction. For example, when you're dealing with drug addicts or alcoholics or smoking addictions, you're sometimes dealing with the energies of departed people, of dead people, who had those cravings, who were flocking around the living and trying to get the next drag or the next drink or the next fix through them. It's a common problem, and it's understood shamanically. It's understood by many therapists, whether or not they talk about it openly. And once again, if there's a hole in you, things might come around and be with you or try to get inside you that don't belong, including energies of dead people and all that good stuff. I mean, this is one of the things that soul loss lays us open to. And in the new book, there are some very important, simple, clear, practical chapters on spiritual cleansing, psychic cleansing, and maintaining good psychic boundaries and good basic, psychic hygiene.
I know that might blow some people's minds because you would never have thought that there would be entities that are affecting us here in this life. And that just goes to show more of what a multidimensional existence this is. Enjoy a free meditation download on how to activate 42 new chakra systems available to us now. Visit acoustichealth.com and click on Meditations. That's acoustichealth.com. Thank you and enjoy. Thank you for listening to a portion of this healing conversation. For the full-length conversation and information on transcripts, CDs, and MP3 downloads, visit acoustichealth.com and click on Radio Show. I now leave you with music from the universe, music created literally by the universe, as computer music researcher Phil Windsor assigned musical notes to mathematical equations, and the result is this beautiful music. Available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.